And welcome to a new Energy Crew with me, your host, JP Warren. I want to thank everyone out there for tuning in. We know that you have your choice of podcasts out there. And again, this is going to be one of those quick ones that we're going to be doing. It's about a 15-minute episode, kind of going over various things that I've been interested in lately and just kind of random conversations that I've had lately with various friends and colleagues, and kind of help people navigate in their personal world and their professional world as well. So before we start, I want to say that this podcast is brought to you by You Crew. We got a new sponsor. At You Crew, we are focused on the power of you and reducing and reframing your self-limiting beliefs. Either with our IS to I am journey, where we take your imposter syndrome and turn it into a strength, or our Elevate coaching, where we help you get you unstuck out of your current situation by shifting your mindset and shifting your focus on goals and evidence-based achievements, reflections, where we can elevate your personal and professional circumstances. So you want to learn more about You Crew, head over to connectioncrew.com where you can learn more. And today's kind of, we're going to be doing, again, three episodes today, and we're going to be releasing these. And this is kind of our second batch of episodes that we've done. And the first thing, and the conversation we're going to have today is kind of something that's been floating around in an industry that I'm in. Is there's a lot of it seems that price seems to be driving the decisions, or at least it's so kind of we're going to go over kind of putting yourself in your customer's shoes. Is price the main deciding factor when you're in a sales role, when you're trying to sell or do business development? And I don't think it is. I think, far too often it's there's several things that are missing from this. I think it's a post-COVID sales world. It's perseverance, when it's being comfortable hearing the word no, and it's also kind of being empathetic and realizing that it's not just cost that's driving your customer's decision. There's a lot of other factors, and this episode is going to be here to kind of give you random insights and kind of outlooks on maybe to help you whenever you're engaged in these sales discussions with your customer, and that price, the low cost subject is brought up and kind of tossed around the table. So again, this is just challenge. This is just kind of little tidbits and little things for you to out there if you are in the business development or sales role, which I think we all are in at some aspect, on what to focus on besides the cost and kind of how this can help you. So I guess when it comes to the value, I discussed this previously, is not just when people discuss value on their service, they always assume value is associated with low cost. I don't believe that's true. When we're talking about the value of whether it's a diamond ring, or the value of a car, or the value of a baseball card that you've been collecting, we don't associate value with low cost. So I think it's important to separate the term value and low cost. I think value has been, again, highlighted by the fast food chains, value meals, value this, where you get the most amount you can for the fewest amount of dollars. I think it's important to step away from associating value with low cost and associate value to other aspects of what true value actually is. How does your product add value to your customer? Is it saving time? Is it saving their time? Is it adding value by simplifying their tasks? Or is it maybe a new way to overcome their current situations or the challenges that they're faced with? How is it providing additional value in their lives, in your customers' lives? So if you start thinking about that, how does our product, how does our service provide value to our customer, to our operator? That would be a kind of a good angle, again, away from price. That would help. That would help encourage that. And also, I think that whenever you're reviewing your product, before you go talk to a customer, before you go talk to someone who's interested in buying, think about that. Think about how is this product or service going to improve or add value to our customers' lives. All right. The second thing is what I think is there's a lot of hesitation when it comes to switching a product, especially the industry that I'm in, the oil and gas space that I'm in. There's a lot of if I switch this and shit hits the fan, then what's going to happen? So I think addressing the elephant in the room, like that in operations, things don't always go as planned. Things don't always. What you guarantee always isn't a guarantee. So how do you handle the circumstances and the situations where things kind of don't work out? as you initial plan. So I think bringing that up, I think maybe potentially bringing that up to who you're trying to sell to, who you're trying to get in front of, to bring up, hey, look, we've thought about, if things do kind of go haywire, if things do happen, this is our response plan. We have this person with this much years of experience. We know this. We've dealt with this before. We've seen this. This is the best way that we've seen to respond to it. So, and again, it's kind of holding their hand to kind of guide them through um, the change, the switch. I mean, change is not everyone likes change. Change is difficult. So how can you guarantee, how can you make your your potential customer feel better about making a change? And should things go wrong, how do they feel? How do they have that insurance that you got their back kind of at the end of the day? All right. And again, so that again, you discuss that builds trust, that builds rapport between you and the operator. All right. Again, this is something that I brought up before. Persistence. I think far too often, I get in these conversations with a lot of people. We talk about sales. People in sales roles. I'm not sure. This is kind of a hot take right now. This might be another discussion, but I think that true sales might be kind of over. I think that it's more we're along the lines of business development. I think when it comes to all the information that's out there, I think when it comes to easy access, you can pick up the phone, find out anything. You get Wi-Fi on Mars pretty much these days. I think it's pretty much easy for people to get information. So people don't need to be sold to. I think it's more of a business development. And when it comes to that, it's persistence. There's a lot of times that, people are saying, oh, I've tried to contact this person. They don't have time for me. They don't get back to me. They don't, I've tried to get in touch with, John Smith. I've tried to get in touch with, Amanda Smith for so long. I just can't. I can't. Okay. Well, then I always stop and I say, well, how long have you been trying to get in touch with them? How often, I've tried to call them twice, or I've tried to email them twice, and they won't get back to me, and they move on. Well, taking a sip and unplugging Exec Crew right there, which is also a sponsor of this podcast. So when you email, so you got to think about this. If you're constantly in emails, 100 emails, 200 emails a day, whether you're a customer with your whatever it is, you don't respond to that one email pinging you, asking if you want business or anything like that. So persistence. How can you get in front of this person? Is that constantly showing up? I remember when I first got in sales, I would drive probably about 30 miles to this one office that was outside of Houston. I would constantly go. And eventually got to the point, I think it was after 6 or 7 months, I would keep going and I was not able to see this cat. And this guy would never, ever, ever see me. And I would still go. And again, it was really out of my way. There was no other offices to go to, but I would still go to this office. And finally, he came out after 6 or 7 months. He goes, look, JP, either you're the most persistent sales guy out there or you're the most annoying sales guy out there. And I said, hey, I don't care as long as we're talking right now. That's the main point. So persistence. Don't give up when you're trying to get in front of someone. People are busy. People's times are more busy these days than they were 4 or 5 years ago, which feels weird, but it's kind of, I feel that that's true. So be persistent with it. Don't be annoying. Be persistent. Learn to take rejection and to move forward with that rejection and not to give up. And I see a lot of people stop pursuing their customer. I see a lot of people give up when they are met with a simple, we're not interested or we're fine with our current service providers. So again, I'm not saying be annoying, but I'm saying have persistence, not just in sales, but in a lot of things in life. I think persistence is key, and not a lot of people have persistence. All right. Again, okay, this is another one. This is another a key for people to use. Again, this is being empathetic. What is going on in your customer's shoes? What is driving your customer's decisions whenever they're making the decisions to utilize a service? Is that their boss on their ass, chewing their ass to keep the costs low? Or, hey, use this service that I've used for 30 years because I know them? What is driving your customers' decisions? And to me, that's just getting to know your customer. That's developing that relationship. That's developing, again, that trust, that bond, and understanding what's driving their boat. What's filling their plate. I think that's it's shifting from thinking about, okay, what if I was a customer, what would I want to see? What would I want to hear? So I think about it like this. Like if I'm walking to go look at a car, I don't even like when I'm at a car shop, a car dealership, and people say, hey, what can I do? What you looking for today? I don't even like being sold to when I'm at a car dealership. So think about that as well. Try to be empathetic to your customer's shoes, that they're constantly being berated. They're constantly this. Sometimes they have a persistent salesperson getting after them, but think about what they want to hear. Think about what they're really going for. Is that really cost that's going to really kind of perk their ear up, or is that going to be something else? Is that going to be another driver, another motivator, another reason for them to utilize your product over someone else's? And again, why this goes in the next step. What makes your product different than your competitors? I think discussing what makes your product different is extremely important. Obviously, if you're out there, it's commodities based product, then you're probably not in sales. You're probably just taking orders, which is again fine. But if this is kind of more for the business development to get people to switch from using one product to another, to get people past the low cost discussions that a lot of people kind of have in this space. So how does your product, and these are just kind of questions to ask yourself, how does your product improve your customers' lives or improve your customers' day-to-day activities? Is that kind of simplifying things? Are you saving them an hour at the end of the day when they have to go through reports? Are you saving them, an extra step that they got to call out to confirm something? Are you eliminating steps? Are you freeing up their time? Are you kind of making their day easier? How is your product different than what they're currently using right now? And again, I think that's again that ties into kind of another thing is what are some of the reasons that people should switch to your product? Not just why is it different, but what are some of the reasons that people should switch? Is it the quality? Is it the convenience of things? They don't have to open up these 3 tabs to execute a new process at work. What makes your product different? Why is it different? Whether it's where it's manufactured, how it's made, how it's produced, how it carries your customer through their day, whatever it is, talk about what makes your product different. All right. And there's 2 more to really kind of wrap up this topic. Again, it's as I discussed earlier, if we're sitting in the sales role, you got to ask yourself, who wants to be sold to? Nobody. I don't want to be sold to, even when I'm in the active mindset of buying. It's switching your mindset from having that sales mode to having that business development mode, finding that common ground, finding those hobbies or habits or bonds that both y'all have where you can establish some sort of connection, some sort of trust. And to me, that is the way I feel that's the way sales has gone previously. I think that is the way it's going to be going forward. I think whenever there is certain, blips, and when it comes to, the economic turmoil, cost is a driver. However, I don't think cost being a driver long term is sustainable. I don't think when people look at cars for their families, they look at the low cost. They look at a lot of other factors. I don't think when people go to their jobs, they look at low cost. There's a lot of other factors. And again, that's developing that relationship. That's developing that trust, that bond with your customers, where they actually, there is some sort of trust there where you can have these conversations on what drives them, what they're looking for, what solutions they're guided by. And honestly, the last thing is to wrap it up is the courage to ask for business. It's so often, it's far too often people don't ask for work. They don't ask for their business. And to me, that's kind of the lowest hanging fruit that people can do. So again, all these different things are to kind of shift the conversation away from the cost, away from that easy way to dismiss people outside their office or not pick up the phone or not respond to an email. It's getting to know people. It's establishing that trust, finding out what drives them, and also finding out what makes your product different. If your product is a commodity that's comparable to all these other products out there, you probably still wouldn't be in business. So there's something that makes your product different. What is that? So again, I think that's kind of the point of this. And again, don't be afraid to ask for work. Don't be spinning your wheels and don't ask for the job. So I think that kind of wraps this subject up. And again, this is kind of transitioning from the cost-based sales to more of the relationship-based sales, and kind of just several key ideas to keep on in your mind when you're having these conversations with your potential customers. So that's all we have right now on Energy Crew. Keep your energy in the flow in the right direction, and we appreciate you tuning in. If you enjoyed this, be sure to like, share, comment, get the word out there, because I'm trying to do these short ones, and I'm enjoying it. So thank y'all for tuning in, and we'll talk to y'all soon.